Hello, this is Jacqueline at Bilingual FM, and we just finished a group talk today. It's December 15th, 2010, and the topic of today's group talk was our childhood. So, with this topic, our first vocabulary word that we learned was the word childhood, and childhood is a noun, and it's describing the time when we were children or when we were kids. So this time period is our childhood. In example sentences, we can use it like, during my childhood, I was a bad boy. So when I was a child, I was a bad boy. In my childhood, I didn't study in school. Or I grew up in the countryside, so I had a great childhood. And the next vocabulary that we looked at was the word strict. And strict is an adjective, and a person is described as strict, and it's someone who has a lot of rules and they strongly enforce them. So you can't break the rules with somebody who is strict. Maybe they'll get angry. So in an example sentence, my father was a very strict man. He always made me go to bed by 6 o'clock. So he had a rule, and he also really made you follow that rule. It's not necessarily mean, but it's a serious rule. Or in another example, my parents were not strict. They let me watch TV whenever I wanted to. And the next vocabulary word we learned was shrine, and a shrine is a noun, and it's a place of worship or religious building in certain religions like Shinto. And an example sentence, every New Year's Eve I go to Meiji Shrine. Or B, I live next to a Shinto shrine. And the last new word is the noun curfew. So a curfew is a rule. It's the time that we need to be home. So it's a rule. Often your parents give you a curfew. So in an example, when I was a child, my curfew was 5 o'clock. So I had to be home before or at 5 o'clock. When I was a teenager, my curfew was midnight. Alright, so those are some very useful words. Childhood, to be strict, a person is strict. Also a shrine and curfew. Just two things some students had difficulty with was, the first mistake was there was no verb. Or there was a verb, but it wasn't, this sentence wasn't quite full enough. So the mistake was what to eat. And so you need to say, what did you eat, or what do you like to eat, or what are you eating, but not just what eat. So an example of a correct way is, what did you eat? And the other thing was, the mistake was always I am working, and actually it sounds a little bit better to say I am always working. I am always doing this, but to have always at the beginning is a little bit strange. So always I am working is the incorrect way of saying it, and instead it's better to say I am always working, or I am always doing this, I am always doing that. It's the same with never. I am never working. I'm never doing this. So just put it before the verb. Alright, so that's what we talked about in today's group talk. I hope it was useful, and see you again soon. Bye-bye.